Welcome once again to the Damon Floyd Coaches Show here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. I'm your host, Gary Ownbey. Each week we talk with Coach Floyd, but he's deserted us this week. We're going to talk with a young man who's on the staff, Brett Standifer. Brett, welcome to the program. Glad to have you here.
Yep, thank you.
Former Bear, now a coach, and a major part of the success that the Bears have. Our programs each week are brought to you by LB Appliance on Durkee Road. We appreciate those folks out there providing our coverage for our coach show each week. Thursday night, we went up to Bearden, who's having a tough year. We took care of business, did things what we needed to do. We'd come off that bad loss to Maryville, which was not a shame there because Maryville's beating everybody, including Oak Ridge. They mercy ruled Oak Ridge last week. So it's no shame in losing to Maryville, but it's good to get that behind us, get that taste out of our mouth, and not end the season with that loss and end it with a very strong win. I thought we had a lot of things that looked good. Tucker was pretty solid at quarterback. Ken Phelps looked like he's 100%. Our defense was just rock solid again. All the things we need to have going the right way seem we're going the right way Friday night to get ready for our playoff game.
Yeah, yes, sir. You said it. Finishing up the year, it was kind of one extreme or the other.
Yeah.
Maryville is Maryville. They've done it for a long time. Obviously, we have all of the respect in the world to that program. Bearden, it's still a 6A school. If you look at their schedule, they've played some very, very tough opponents. But still, they knew they were 0-9 going into the game. We knew they were 0-9 going into the game. It's kind of one of those like just playing for pride moments. So it's definitely balancing that of they want to go out on a high note for those seniors that are 0-9 at the moment, and we know we're in the playoffs, so you don't want to look too far past, but you also are realistic to what the situation is. So, yeah, we've definitely had to juggle totally different things the last few weeks.
Yeah, and it was senior night for them, so that always adds some emotion in things, especially for those seniors there. We got off to a good start. Our defense stopped them the first possession. They snapped the ball over the punter's head. We got a safety right off the bat. 2 minutes into the game, we got that. We come back. They did hold us on that first drive, and they get the ball back after Brady's 46-yard punt to the 3-yard line, I believe. Our defense held them again, and we had J.J. Johnson step up, and get a pick six, we call it. And we were off and running, So.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's kind of been, I think our defense has kind of been that's been our MO all year is playing defense. We've done really good on that side of the ball. While we've tried some different things offensively, and defense has kind of carried us for the most part through this.
Yeah, well, they've done really well there, and one of our defense is one of the best in the state right now, under about 8-7 points a game, something like that. We're surrendering there, but they had a chance there. We're up 9-0, and we've got the ball. We're driving, and they're driving, I'm sorry. And they have this trick play. Wide receiver goes in motion right to left, and quarterback pitches to him, and he stops all of a sudden and looking downfield. The other left side wide receiver is wide open. I could have caught that one there. I mean, anybody could have. It's just a matter if he could catch without dropping it. And he did, and they scored now 16-6. Well, it's senior night for them. This crowd's all fired up.
Right.
Hey, man, we've got the Bears here. We're coming back now. But that was it. We shut them down. I think we had over 300 yards of offense, held them 140. And I want to talk about Kenyon Phelps. He had that ankle injury and he missed a couple of games. And I always wondered, is he 100%? Because he wasn't running like the Kenyon we've seen, earlier. But he seems like he's back 100% now.
Yeah, through last week, which Kenyon ended up with 21 carries again. So, obviously if we didn't feel that he was back to 100% or close to it, he wouldn't have had that many touches. But yeah, Kenyon looked like Kenyon of old. Throughout the year he's gone back and forth, struggling with injury, and he is a tough kid. Yeah. So when Kenyon had the injury, he's trying to play through it. So maybe I was coming back before it was fully healed, and then I re-aggravated or whatever the case may be with it. But yeah, last week and then what we've seen just through a day of practice this week, Kenyon does look back to full go. He's moving more confident, I guess you would say. He's out there and he wants the ball. Like I said, super tough kid, hard worker, but it was great to have him back and be able to get back in the flow of what we wanted to do offensively.
157 yards. He had more yards on his own than they did for the total game, so that was a strong game for him. Tucker Cook, 9 of 13, 2 touchdown passes. He's in good form right now at a perfect time. We need everybody on, playing 100% and doing what they need to do there. He looked pretty good there too. And was it a game plan going up there that you guys had seen film on Beard and realized they were not the Beard of old, but to run the ball like we did because we were successful running the ball?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think that was necessarily something with Bearden as much as it is. That's kind of been our identity, throughout the year is we've wanted to play defense and run the ball. And when we have had success this year, that's where it's been established. I mean, we have receivers that have made plays and, we've connected through the air a few times. But the reality is what we have hung our hat on is those big dudes up front, giving Kenyon the ball behind them. Spencer and Brady have done a great job going back there and spelling him. If you've watched us, anyone watching this probably has, is we've snapped it to Braden quite a bit and let him do it.
Yeah.
But definitely, week to week you change maybe how you want to run the ball, but that has been our thing all year is we want to play defense and run the ball.
Well, we done quite well there, but I'll tell you something, we're going to have to limit those penalties. I mean, we had some legit penalties, I call them, because of his offsides or whatever, but we got other penalties we just got to get rid of and be ready to go Friday night. Let's talk about you now, personally. You played at Bradley. When did you graduate?
Graduated.
And the playoffs. You were in the playoffs under Coach Floyd.
Oh, yeah. Yep, went to Maryville.
Yeah, I went to Maryville there.
Yep.
Seems like we go to Maryville up there in playoffs or regular season. Sometimes they start out real good and have a quick touchdown or something like that, and then Maryville wakes up and realizes, hey, we got to do this. But anyway, in your coaching team here, what position do you coach for the Bears?
So I'm the quarterback coach.
Yeah.
I'm the assistant head coach. I'm the special teams coordinator, which those last two are relatively new, but I've been the quarterback coach since I've been here, so this is year 7.
Well, our special teams, like last week, they can flip the fields, we say, they can determine field position, and that 46-yard punt right down to the 3-yard line, Brady, that was a masterpiece there, man. You can't ask for a better with no return. And it just rolled in there. But we got to get ready for the game coming up. We're going to take a break here now for L&B Appliances. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Jefferson County game. We'll be on the road to play the Patriots, a team we've not played very often, but we have played them. We'll talk about all that when we return here on ESPN Cleveland, 1013. Back here at the Coach Show, normally with Damon Floyd, who's in a required meeting in Knoxville today. And standing in for him is our assistant head coach, Mr. Brett Standifer. We appreciate Brett coming in today. I don't have a lot of knowledge about Jefferson County, and you guys obviously now have seen film on them. And what scares you? What keeps you awake at night? I mean, you're the offensive side of the ball, but what do you look at? What do you see? What do they want to do?
So one thing with Jefferson County, I'll start with our offense.
Yeah.
The scary part about their defense is they are very, very athletic in the secondary. They can play some man-to-man.
Yeah.
So when you can do that, they end up with a few extra guys in the box to play and fit that run. That's definitely what it's going to be. Their secondary worries me. It's a big school. So to tell you the truth, they have good pieces everywhere. I think that's the scary part is I really don't know either side of the ball that they have one spot that it's like, man, you have to attack here. They are a well-rounded program and they do things well. They're pretty creative offensively and do some different things, but I think that's what scares me, at least from the offensive side, is that secondary is super athletic.
What do they like doing offense?
So they're pretty multiple. Honestly,
seems like everybody is.
Yeah, they'll have some 4 wide receiver sets, 10 personnel, as we would say. They'll have an H-back back there and be an 11 or H-back tight end. They've had some clips where they've got 2 backs back there. Like I said, while I don't spend as much time worried about that side of the ball, I think that's what I have seen and noticed is it's pretty multiple, and they've got some guys that can play. Well,
I'm sure they are. They're 8-2. And the 2 losses are 2 really, really good teams there.
Yeah, for sure.
They're in the playoffs for a reason there. We've only played them 4 times. And the very first time I remember, 1979. Matter of fact, the reason I remember it is me and David Kaywood, who's our AD at the time, and Corky Wetlock, who's passed on, and Lawrence Matthews, who was with us in the Booster Club. We drove up there to watch them play a game because we only had 9 games that year. That's back when nobody wanted to play the Bears. We'd won a state title in '76, and we were playing 9 games a year for a few years under Louis Alford. And we went up there and watched them play, and they had a contract and had to sign a contract to come play the Bear Bowl. So they come down here, we won that game. Then we only played them 3 times since, and that was in, I think, 2015, 16. Then in the playoffs in 21, out here at Bear Stadium in 2021, when we still had real grass out there on the field. So very small sample size, but 4-0. And those games really mean nothing anyway. You know, that was years ago, and this is this year. Last year's games mean nothing. But are they a physically large team? Because it seems like everybody we play is bigger than us weight-wise and size-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of they're big, I guess I'll start off by saying that. Now, I mean, are they the biggest team that we have seen this year? No, but they are certainly not even close to the smallest.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we were saying, this is an 8-2, 6A program. They're going to have all of the pieces, you know. They've got some big linemen. They have some fast skill kids. They've got a quarterback that can play. So they're definitely up front. They're pretty big. They do have a kid that plays nose guard for them he's listed at 6'6", 320. I think so. He's a monster for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, they definitely have some big ones up front.
Well, what's going to be the key this week to being successful on the road up there?
I'm going to give you some coach speak.
All right.
No silly penalties, no turnovers, establish the run and stay ahead of the chains, and I think we've got a chance.
Sound like Coach Floyd sitting here talking to me again.
Yeah, for sure. Where do you think I hear it?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and some of those like penalties and all can be, you know, they can be diminished at least. You're going to have some every game. There's no doubt about that because of, you know, the effort that you try to put out there. Are we pretty healthy right now as far as, you know, we know right now?
Yeah, I think as much as you can be. You know, I think we have a handful, obviously, that have bumps and bruises, you know, wear and tear throughout the year. But I feel good about our health going into week 11.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if you don't have bumps and bruises after 10 games, you probably ain't playing hard enough.
Right, yeah, for sure.
You know? Yeah. You want to make somebody feel the pain. As the old saying goes, we got to go up there and kick some tail and bust face up there. And, you know, it's win or go home now.
Yeah, that's right.
There's no shake it off and we'll play next week. No, we ain't going to shake it off and play next week now.
Yep. Yeah, we told the kids that yesterday. You know, it's like, guys, there's majority of the teams are at home this week. You know, it's really how bad do you want another one at this point? And I'm sure Jefferson County's saying the same thing.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing for them, and it looks like it could be raining Friday night. It's a turf field, so it shouldn't matter really. It's going to be rain for both teams. It doesn't matter, it's no excuse, sure. But it may change your game plan a little bit, but probably not a whole lot there. But well, it's been good talking with you. I appreciate you sitting in for Coach Floyd. I'm sure he does too, and we hope he has safe travels back. And we will see what happens Friday night, and we play at Jefferson County. We'll have a 5:30 pregame show, 7 o'clock kickoff on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Until then, we'll say so long for now. God bless, and go Bears.